What's going on, guys? Breaks here. Today we have a short video. This was a request to talk a bit about demons and warriors, since those are the new books and those are the last updates before the ETC. I will try to state my short opinion on those. This week demons, next week warriors. So starting with demons, I will start with the general feel of the army. I think that the army is heavily close combat oriented. Pretty much both of the armies are like that. Both the warriors and demons are very heavy combat oriented. Most of the lists are combat oriented, most of the lists are pushy lists. I don't really like it. I have to say that I remember demons being much more versatile army, and now it's becoming a one-trick pony, which is not to my liking. I have to say that even though there are some things that can shoot in the army, they are mostly trash, and it's just not worth using them, especially because lots of units are very cheap and they are close combat units. So you can have a pretty strong magic phase in the demons, but the pretty strong shooting is hard to do. Maybe the Eidolons after this is a third decrease with the Aura of Despair might work, but I still think that it's just better to build the pushy demons. I've tried to build some mixed lists. They have some potential. It's better than it used to be. At the start it used to be just CC and no way to try to fit shooting except for the Harvester, but it's mostly a CC piece anyway. But now you can try to fit some more shooting, but I still think that both Eidolons and Imps are pretty terrible at it. And the bigger problem is that there is basically no shooting like bolt throwers and cannons, which were the staples of the previous book. But that's where the design went, and let's just go through the book and see what I think. Okay, so manifestations. The Iron Husk is fairly new, so it just sets the resilience to 6 instead of +1. I think it's garbage. I think it's very expensive, and it got completely useless on Harbingers and on Omen and on Sentinel if someone was so bright to take that, and I still don't think that it's good for the neither Courtesan nor the Maw. It's just too expensive. I very much like Kaleidoscopic Flash for the bigger monsters, but still the bigger monsters are not that good, so well, just skip it, I guess. The Mirror Scales, this is the change from the Tarskin. Tarskin was a really good manifestation, really much used. The Mirror Scales, yeah, pretty much poop. I don't think that I will take that. I don't think anybody will take that. And the worst part is that Veil Serpents used to have Tarskin, and they used to be good because of it, but now they have Mirrored Scales. And even though I still like the Veil Serpents, I think this is a huge change, because pretty much nobody attacks the Serpents. The Serpents used to be in the place that they are just touching the corner, so if they are touching the corner, the Mirror Scales pretty much doesn't work. So yeah, whatever. Any more changes? Pretty much no more changes. Some manifestations are still just total bullshit, like the Brimstone Secretions, the Cloven Hose, pretty much no chance to use them. The Dark Hide is too gimmicky, I guess. Mark of Eternal Champion is nice because you can boost the range of the divination, so this one is actually pretty interesting. Here, Unnatural Roots, yeah, this is interesting change. I think if more defensive lists could play, this would be a really nice, but not on the heroes, mostly on the Lemurs, I guess. So the 10 Lemurs with Unnatural Roots and Standard are actually 240 points. This is a very good value for the unit, but if you are playing a very aggressive list, they are usually too slow, so there's that. Maybe on the Miser, they can be good. I would guess, because Miser usually will struggle with the combat resolution, but yeah, Miser is not that good. So the Third Eye, yeah, this is a gimmick, 20 points, not worth it. Piercing Spike, this is a huge nerf, especially for the Fiends, where they basically used this +1 strength part a lot, but the cost didn't go down at all, so yeah, pretty much garbage on the units now. For the heroes, yeah, still pretty much garbage. The green fire eyes, yeah, looks nice. It's like having a heal under your unit, but it's 40 points. Broodmother got a bit interesting, although definitely, yeah, not going to be used on mob because it will just explode too soon. But maybe if you have a more general, then you can try the heralds with the Broodmother and try to resurrect things like bloodletters or sirens or anything. But it still looks a bit gimmicky, so I don't know. This one is actually big one. The grasping proboscis, because now it gets D3 veil tokens instead of 1. This is huge. And just when we thought that they nerfed the Hellhounds, they're giving you this. And this costs 1 point per Hellhound. So for a unit of like 12 Hellhounds, you pay 12 points, and you will most likely get D3 Veils every turn of combat. That's just hilarious. If you have like 2 units of dogs with that, you will have 12 tokens each turn easy. So this is actually what makes me pretty angry, because I wanted to test the Sentinel, but there is no point in testing Sentinel if you can take the dogs. With this one, the dogs are pretty good by themselves, but with this one, you get a lot of Veil tokens and you don't need the Sentinel ability, so yeah. The Divining Snout nerf, okay, come on. Was this like abused, overused or something? Why the nerf? Why does it work only for more than one special item? What's the point? Tell me please, what's the point of that? I have no idea. I would probably try this on the chariots, but now doesn't make sense. If this could help against a unit with magical banner, then it would be nice. But without this, what? And it's and if you wanted to have it on the core unit, it was from the Miser, so one of the worst greater demons. So yeah, this one pretty much no change. The Bronze Backbone is actually interesting because it used to have a gimmick that if you lost the combat and you keep your hatred, yeah. I think if it goes down, it went down for like 25 points, so it's basically a boost for the Omen, because Omen use this a lot, and well, 25 points decrease, it's good. It's good for Omen, but I don't think it's deserved. I think it's now practically auto pick on Omen. Chilling Eon, -2 agility, you can live with that, although again another nerf to the Sentinel, which was actually using this in combo. The Red Haze, you cannot pick anymore. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad for Crushers. Yeah, and this addition doesn't matter. So for the heroes, mounts for the Harbinger pretty much still useless, although I've been toying with the Burning Wheel, but yeah, still it doesn't look that good. They are just really expensive, and 10 plus 10 points on Harbinger, I don't know. Kulima still good. Moavakan still good, still interesting. Tested it a bit, both in the version of Master and the version of Adept, and even if in the version of Apprentice, and they all look nice. So it just looks like a good design. Although I think that I prefer the version that is the cheapest, because it basically works like Demon Engine last year. So Miser, he just does pretty much nothing on the battlefield, and it's very expensive. You can buy things that actually do stuff that help you make pressure and not spend like 1,000 points. Again, if the defensive lists were more popular, then maybe Miser would be something, but I don't see it happening. The Courtesian, yeah. Still, banishment, D6 wounds from divination, and it's gone, so yeah, maybe not. Omen. The 100-point hike last time was justified, so I think it is in a decent spot now. Mostly used as a master. I think that the problem is that it is very hard to get a good master if you want, and masters in demons really matter a lot. So for the master choices, for the ones that can be safe, you have Omen or Sentinel. And Sentinel is not that good because of the dogs. So yeah, you can also pick the demon that cannot be in the unit as a master, but this is not as safe as I would like. And the throne is still overpriced as heck. It basically makes him be the price of the greater demon, but with not that much benefits. So yeah, Sentinel, as I said, this part would be nice, but it is not, because it is just wasted. And the Scourge, on one hand, I very much like that it got simplified. I think it's a good change that it got simplified. On the other hand, the price is still pretty big. I don't know. It still looks like an overpriced giant, very much overpriced giant. So I guess we will see if we see more Scourges, but there are just other offensive options that are not as risky as this one. Okay, and the mounts, blah blah blah. Imps. I don't know what can salvage in League. I think the problem is that you lack the AP1, AP2 shots in the army. And the Harvester is nice, but it just doesn't fit well in the list, you know. So Imps would be a nice addition to the shooting list, but the shooting lists are pretty much non-existent. So, and yeah, the shooting lists are, maybe I'm a bit wrong. Maybe the shooting lists are non-existent for the other reason, because they actually don't have access to something like bolt throwers or cannons. So you don't have any very convincing arguments to drag your opponent to you. I guess that would be the reason. The Succubi is still very good. From the manifestations, I guess the Bronze Backbone is still the best one, because you just bring Kulima and you have the poison with reroll, and that's just the nicest one. The Lemurs, again, I would say that the units of 10 with Banner and Unnatural Roots are really nice. I encourage you to try them out, because they really, like, with 2 combat resolution base plus 1 from the rank, if your opponent doesn't manage to kill any, that's a lot. That's a very nice unit. And the Myrmidons, they got more expensive. The Piercing Spike got a bit cheaper, but I don't think that the Piercing Spike is the go-to choice now. I think that the Hatred is just much better on them for the same price. Like, on one hand you can get +1 AP sometimes, and on the other hand you have Hatred with the Battle Focus. Okay, which one would you pick? Come on. There is no point. Maybe the Unhinging Jaw if your army struggles against large and gigantic, but I don't think that you do. I think that if you take them, you take them with Bronze Backbone, maybe naked, but they are pretty good. Probably the best core choice in my mind now. But yeah, the Eidolons, again. The only manifestation that makes sense on them is Aura of Despair. And yeah, the shots not really great. Just invest in more close combat, I guess. More close combat, more heavy magic, and you'll be fine. Hellhounds, Grasping Proboscis is definitely the best manifestation here. Like, I don't understand why Centipede legs are so expensive. Like 3 points per model +1 advance. That's bullshit. That's just not worth it. But the Grasping Proboscis is definitely too cheap. Although they got a pretty severe price hike on the extra models, so I think they are in a much better spot now than they used to be. But still, probably too good. Especially because Lethal Strikes help this army immensely. Okay, Threshing Engines. I don't necessarily understand this colossal stature rule, but the small versions seem nice. The movement 10, previously I would say that Divining Snout was interesting, and maybe even Fly was interesting, but now I would say that take them the cheapest ones, and with 4 wounds, with toughness 4, with hard target, with 5 upward, you can basically be Chaff and sometimes kill Chaff. So they are definitely interesting choice. The Titan Slayer Chariot went down in points. Still not really stable, is it? And with no hard target, it has +1 resilience, but I don't consider it much better than the regular Chariot. Like, it's nice that it has the Crusher with 3 attack strength 6. It definitely is cool, but the impact hits are a bit gimmick, and yeah. I don't know. I think it just doesn't answer the things that I want from my army to answer, because those guys help with armor a lot, and they help with the opponents with longer charges, and this guy can threaten things like monsters much more. But if you look at yeah, but it's not like it gets the auto charge off against monsters, and it's still like 9 compared to the 10. And if it doesn't charge, it's bullshit as all the chariots. I don't know. Maybe I'll try one of those and one of those, and we'll see how this works. Okay, and the Gremlins, probably the best unit in the book. It just changes your opponent's perspective a lot. It just makes him like I know the guy played 3x4, I think, at the last Polish Masters, and did really well with them. And with the Venom Sacs, like 5-up poison changes a lot in the 4 unit. I think it would be nice to have like either 4+2 or 4+4+2, just because it makes it so much harder for your opponent to set up properly if he has to take into account that you also have a unit of 2. Because if you have only units of 4, then it's not that hard to block off your side so that they cannot ambush behind your opponent. But if you have the 2, then he has to leave much less space open. So I guess that's the thing. And yeah, it just pushes your opponent into the corner very much, helps you win the scenarios, helps you just dominate the battlefield. So I would say that this is the very important reason why offensive armies are better, because they work really nice with the Gremlins, and the Gremlins with the very cheap pricing, like this is 300 points for 4 models, this is 20 wounds. Yeah, definitely worth it. Definitely recommend for you to check them out. The Claw Fiends, yeah, so we are coming to the large special units, and we have like basically 4 of them: Fiends, Hoarders, Crushers, and Flies. So we started with Crushers being very good, then they got nerfed, so everyone transferred to Hoarders, then Hoarders got nerfed, so everyone transferred to Flies, and Flies got nerfed, so everyone now transfers to Fiends. Like this is not even hard. The Fiends were already useful, but this is pretty much it. Like I'm just waiting for the Fiends to get nerfed so that Crushers can be good again or something. Like this is ridiculous. And again, the piercing spike here, that's bullshit now. I like Broodmother, especially after the Broodmother changes. Getting 3 wounds off is not that hard, and it really changes dynamics. Like I've played many games with them, and most of them I finish on full lives, even though I've been reduced to 3-4 Fiends. But then I kill some random units, I kill some chaff and such, and every time like plus D3, plus D3, plus D3, plus D3, and yeah. So they are really good, and the scoring unit that is 918 is nothing to sneeze at. And this model rule is basically for free. So the Hoarders, yeah, with loss of tasking, they just cannot compete with the Fiends, I feel like. Sirens, yeah, I've been trying to use them. They look nice, but they are very fragile. I think if you should use them depends on your role in the team, or if you are playing on the singles, or if you are playing on more defensive side, then you probably shouldn't use Sirens, because they are just not good enough. Okay, and let's look at the placing glories. Now let's not look at them. This change gives nothing, this change nothing, and then 40 points on top. Okay, I'm done. Harvester still good. Brazen Beasts, yeah, with the change of Red Haze, maybe unit of 3, maybe unit of 4, but not really a fan of them. I mean, if you have a unit with movement 7 that needs to get the charge off to make sure that it does something, yeah, nope. Furies, yeah, that's Furies. Veil Serpents, again, the mirror scales is a huge nerf to them, but they got a bit cheaper, and for 250 points they are basically a flying unit, so whatever. 912, pretty much weird, but still this is 9 wounds with toughness 4, and the spells on them are pretty nice, so you can even use the 3 of them with some spells. And then it looks good, because you have both you have twisted effigy, which works very well with demons. Smite the Unbeliever, which is a very good spell. The spear if you need more missiles. And Deceptive Glamour is a nice combination with divination. So at this point I would just think that the Morphlings rule is pretty much for free, that the Chilling Yawn is just cherry on top against elven armies, but the most important part is that this is just a flying unit and some more expensive chaff, but that can also deal with chaff and even deal with the opponent's bunkers and such. The Bloatfights, yeah, this unit, yeah, nope. Just nope. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Cheers.